Hello and welcome back. This is the Clay Golem, this is Foundry VTT, and this is Curse of Strahd. It's been a little while. I've had some challenges and some issues, not just time-wise. I did have a fair bit more done, and yeah, jumping around a lot for installing, uninstalling, rolling forwards, rolling back different versions and things because of videos and testing and stuff. I I did have a bit of an issue, and I did need to I chose to reinstall Foundry, and I hadn't backed up some of my later things, so I lost a whole bunch of my maps and had to redo them. So really stupid. But anyway, apart from those delays, what have we been doing? In the last video on this, we finished off the Den of Wolves. And that is available in the pack already, so if you're not up to date, that is all done and in that pack ready for you to go. I have now moved on to the Dragon's Manor, which is Argynvostholt, the Dragon's place, and I have built all of these maps out as well. Now, some of these maps start to get really confusing about what is where. And when you're reading through the module, remember, I'm building this following Dragna reloaded version, okay? But for copyright reasons, obviously, he can't just use all of the original material. So when you're reading through Dragna stuff, it says, this room is as described in the original module. So you do need the original module to be able to run it, which is good, okay? Because we don't want to be just stealing people's stuff. So you end up looking on your map, trying to work out what the room is that Dragna is talking about so that you can reference back to the original module. And that is really quite challenging when you're actually running the thing. Now, for smaller maps, that's not a problem because you've prepped ahead of time. When it starts to get really confusing is when you've got lots of rooms. So what I've done is on this map, and I really ought to go back and do it on some of the other maps as well, is I've just put down, these are just drawings that only the DM can see. And these reference the original module's areas. So if a Dragna says, oh yes, as described in Q3 in the original module, well, on the map you can just jump to Q3. Okay, so it just to help link that and make that a bit easier for you. So what have we actually got here? We're on the ground floor here. As you would expect, it is all walled up. All of our walls are in. I have put in the locked doors. I've put in all of the bits that we need, the windows, etc. Excuse me. And I have, of course, put in all of the regions, including all of the stairs to go up and down. Now, this one's not too bad. There's not that many staircases to go up and down. So that's all done. And I've put in the lighting. Now, when I say I've put in the lighting, there's lots of these areas, if I zoom in here, where on the map there are torches or lamps on the wall that are not lit. Now, this is an old ruin. So if your players come along, you know, they might say, I want to light that lamp on the wall. I'll be saying, well, you know, the lamp is functional, but the oil was long dried up and is useless. But they might still want to light those lamps. So rather than then trying to do that on the fly, I just put the lamps in anyway. If they do choose to light them, then the lamps are already there ready for you to just give it one click. I have put in the lights that are in this part of the module, including these glowing bits, and I've put this Sir Godfrey Gwillem is in here as well with those lights. Now, with these pillars, Dragna version, there are some ghostly whispers around these lights. So these lights should be on. And if I grab Sir Godfrey here, hopefully you can hear them. So I've just added, I think you could probably hear those. I've just added those on as well. So they are directly, those sounds are directly over those lights. And they're quite short range. But obviously if you're standing in the middle, you're getting multiple of them. So those are in there, those lights are all ready to go. That is all completed, ready to run. Now there is a bit where you end up chasing this little fella around the place. They start off over in Q10 and then they dash around and you finally catch them up here. I just put them there because that's when you see them. So they're hidden for the moment. You don't actually see them until that point, so I put them there. There is the room with the spiders, so all of the giant spiders I've put in here, including the 2 phase spiders. They're not in the original module. In the original module, they're all giant spiders. Dragnacarta's put 2 phase spiders in. And the reason why Dragnacarta's done that is because the fangs of a phase spider can help you fight the spirits that are within the rest of the rest of the house, really. It's a fortified house rather than a castle, isn't it? Moving upstairs again, there's not a huge amount going on here. There are some items to ransack over here, so I've stuck that as an item pile so they can be picked up. All the doors and windows and stuff again are all sorted where they need to be along with the regions, but there's not an awful lot to do here. There's lots of spirits that they encounter and have conversations with, but they can't necessarily see. However, there are parts here where they do encounter some ethereal what are they called? They're not death knights, but they like the revenants. The revenants that they've seen on the bridge. They see some ghostly spirits here. So these are all in here ready to go. Phantom warriors, that's what they refer to them as. Got their own images. They're all here hidden away, ready to do combat. If we go up to the 2nd floor, again, all the maps, all the map locations are all on here. All of the walls are done, etc. But again, not an awful lot to do here. There is a bit of, there's hidden treasure here behind the wall, so I've given you those items, so they're ready to hand out immediately. Up to the 3rd floor, and this is where we approach the roof. Now, there's not an awful lot going on here. There's just the stairs, really, and then there's the roof area. But then when we go further up to the beacon area, I've split this into 2 parts, this map. So you've got this part over here. Again, not an awful lot going on. But then you've got the actual top here where you've got the gargoyle statue or the dragon statue up here. And you've got the what is the big bad guy for this, Vladimir Horngard, who is the one that, well, they're told to avoid him to start with. Now, the whole point of all of this, or, well, I mean, you know, the players don't have to come here at all. If the players come here, one of the things that can happen is they can light the beacon. And if they complete the quests around here, they solve the puzzles, and they manage to relight the beacon, not only do they earn a nice chunk of XP for doing that and for freeing the ghosts that are trapped here, but they gain some benefits for fighting the Curse of Strahd. And one of those is an automatic +1 to their armor class for the rest of the time they're in Barovia, which is a massive boost. So what I decided to do about the beacon is I put a button on. So on the ground floor, when they return the dragon's bones to this area Q16, the beacon lights. So if I click this, the beacon is nice. And yes, I know that is ridiculously bright. That's on purpose because it's supposed to be a really bright beacon that is from the top. Now, if we change scenes, that beacon light actually is then lit across all of these scenes. So no matter where they go after that beacon has been lit, and of course up here it will shine across the roof as well until we get to the very top, and there you've got the beacon actually shining out from the tower. So I just thought that's a nice way of doing it. It's putting that button in, and then they've got this really bright beacon. Now I know it does look really bright, but this beacon is visible for miles and miles around. So when they return to the town of Vallaki, they can still see this beacon. That's how bright it is, and it's effectively brings sunlight to the valley, and you know, and upsets lots of dark denizens. So I wanted to make it bright to make them realise that that's, you know, how big it is. But this button will just turn it off. Again, it will turn it off on all of those levels. So that is kind of ready to go. I mean, obviously you need to read the darn module and prep yourself properly. But this is ready to go. So following this video, I will, or rather once I finish recording this video, while it's editing and processing and everything else, I will be updating the module to include the whole of Arc M in there. In fact, I think I might have. If I was any good whatsoever, yeah, I've already got it. I've already got it there. It's already been built. So I just need to update the module for you guys to download. Now, the next thing to work on, and I have made a start, is the Castle Ravenloft. Yeah. So Dinner with the Devil. This is the chapter where they've received an invitation from Strahd to go and have dinner with him. Now, a couple of people were asking about how am I planning to do Castle Ravenloft. So I've got a couple of introduction scenes, but what we need to look at is actual Castle Ravenloft. Because there's so many levels to this, I didn't want to do it as one big multi-map because it would take so long to load. So each floor of the castle has its own scene, and your players will jump from scene to scene when they use stairs. If I just show you the regions for this, you can see not only have we got the normal interior regions, but you can see under here, I know it's not very clear, but you can see, look at how many staircases there are. There's a spiral staircase up and down, straight stairs up and down, a big spiral staircase, stairs going down, there's stairs over here, there's stairs up and down over here as well. They're down here, we've got a big spiral staircase and two small spirals. There are stairs all over the place. I mean, you can see from looking at the regions area just how many stairs there are up and down just on this one level here. So I have already been through, and it was a bit of a nightmare. I've walled it all up. I've created all of those regions. You've got all your stairs going up and down. And as you can see, actually, underneath, if I take regions off, you can see again, I've given you the K20, the K31, because it's a complicated map, so that will relate back for you to the original module. Now, the interior looks quite dark here, because I have got that region interior to darken it. It's an old, dark castle. Most of the things you will find in the castle have got dark vision. So I have got that adjust darkness, and I've got it down quite low. If I turn that off on this map, you can see it. There we go. It's a bit brighter. So I've been through this quite meticulously, putting out walls and things like that. Now, what you will notice is where we've got, you know, like here, we've... Hello? What's happened to my... That's a bit weird. What's happened there? I have somehow deleted, through my own stupidity, I don't doubt for 1 minute, a whole bunch of the wall pieces. Gosh, yeah, look around here as well. I don't know what was going on there. Yeah, it's a good job I happened to come in here to do the video and spot that. Now, that is a normal wall around there because that's a part of a tower, and then the rest of it, invisible walls along here. Because they can see over that, but I don't like the idea that tokens can accidentally wander off the side of a cliff. No, that's a bit weird. But anyway, that's fixed. But what you'll notice, rather than doing all of these curves, which would take an age, where it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter that the players can see slightly inside the wall. It doesn't make any difference. So I've done them like that. In fact, actually, I might move that one out slightly. I've got it on the... Move that one out slightly and then bring these ones up just to meet that, because yeah, it's about what the players can see. They won't see the wall lines, they'll just see, you know, what they can see, so that won't do any harm whatsoever. And the same with some of these round towers, you know, spending hours doing, you know, trying to get it to do nice curves when it won't do curves. Oh, wouldn't that be good? But yeah, because it won't do nice curves on the inside walls where it doesn't matter, the players are never going to be on the outside here trying to look in. They could be out here if they're flying and looking at this bit of the wall, but they're never going to be looking at this bit of the wall, this bit of the wall. So it doesn't matter that that looks a bit janky. It's what they see that counts. So as you can tell, of course, all of the lighting and everything is done for all of this as well. I think there's plenty of places where there are lights that aren't switched on, depending where you are in the castle. But I figured that this is Strahd von Zarovich. He can afford his lighting bill. And what's to say that they're not magical lighting anyway? So I thought I would leave all of those lights on where there are lights on the map. So as you can see, as we come up the towers, they are darker. Where are we? On the 4th floor. We'll go up to the 5th floor. And here we start to run out of interior space. So this is a big map for actually very little interior. Here they're just going up and down, but here is the heart of the heart of darkness, the heart of the castle here, and I've given it this pulsating red glow for that, which is I thought was kind of quite nice. And then you can go up higher and you lose that. So that's all the way up, and of course there is also the dungeons as well, and this is again all connected using regions for the stairs. Now once more, it looks dark. Why have I got that light off? Oh, that's because that's on a desk, not necessarily lit. And this might be one where you go, well, are the dungeons going to have all these torches on? I don't know. It's up to you. But this is all mapped out as well, again with all the walls ready to go. No dramas with that. And the lower dungeon, once more, everything is here with all those walls mapped out. There's a lot more darkness here. It took, these little boxes took an age putting in all of those locations, all of the numbers for you. Yeah, I mean, I say for you, I have done that to make your lives easier if you're using my version of Curse of Strahd, but it makes my life easier when I'm running it as well. I don't need to have the Foundry map up and then another copy of the map so I can actually work out where they are. I can just go straight to the module, and what I choose to do is, before they come here, is I will copy and paste out of the original module all of these locations, and then over paste the Dragna Carta changes on top of that. So I end up with my Word document that incorporates Dragna Carta's changes to the original module, so I don't have to flick between the two. That is a pain in the butt and it's a lot of work, but for things like this where there's so many areas, it does make the game flow a lot better. Obviously, for copyright reasons, I can't share that with you because it contains original copyrighted material. That would not be okay. But you might think that actually that's a good way to do it for yourselves. Now, which was that level that I took the lighting off of? Because I don't want my party arriving and I've forgotten to suppress the rain on the others. The rains are fine. It's the lighting. I want to put that back on. And make sure that when I upload it for you guys that is as it should be. So there we go, we're dark on the interior again. So doing the castle itself has been a lot of work to get that ready with all of those location markers, all of the walling, all of the lighting, all of the regions, because the stairs, oh, there's so many stairs, but that all works now. So I obviously need to go through next on this map and populate it with the various monsters and creatures and everything else that appear in here. Which brings me to my next topic. The next arc after this is the Ravenloft heist, which is about coming back to the castle to steal some things. And I thought, well, I don't want to have to redo all of the maps again. Why don't I just have one? And the one after this is about escaping from Castle Ravenloft. So there's basically 3 arcs in a row that are all in and around Castle Ravenloft. And I thought, I don't want to duplicate maps all the time. Why can't I just have one set of maps? What I realised is, and that may well work for you, and it would work for me if I was only doing it for me, because in the different chapters you've got different actors in different places doing things. What you really need to do, if you were doing this for yourself, fine, you need this, what am I on, 2nd floor, and you would get that set up for the, whatever you need to do for the dinner with the devil, and as they've moved on, the next session or a couple of sessions later, you would remove those bits for that one, and then you would add on what you need, the monsters and whatever encounters and things like that, ready for the Ravenloft heist, because they're not going to happen in the same session. Very, very unlikely. Does that make sense? Who knows? But because I'm building this for you guys, I thought that's not going to work. Rather than just giving you a whole bunch of NPCs down the side of the screen for you to chuck in wherever you want, I want this to be kind of as ready to go as possible. So for Ravenloft heist, I'm going to rebuild the whole darn lot again. Now, the good thing is we can do things like go, right, Ravenloft Castle level 1, I can duplicate that, and then I can take that duplicate one and I can drag that and stick it down here. And now I've got that. Now I need to obviously just make sure I update it. I'm going to make that P, and I'm going to get rid of the word copy, and that's ready to go, right? No, it's not. And I wanted to cover this just to let you know. So let's pop into the ground floor. All looks good and everything else. All of those stair regions and everything are in. Because I've duplicated this region, for example, GFK18 down stairs, now appears on 2 different scenes. So when a character uses stairs and it's linked to this region, which one of those 2 maps does it go to? The one in Arc O or the one in Arc P? Bum. That is a problem. So I can clone it, and it will clone all the lighting, and it will clone all of the region areas, and it will clone all the walls and stuff, and it will save huge amounts of time. But I do need to relink all of these regions for the stairs again, making sure that they link to the Arc P versions and don't accidentally leak to the Arc O. Ask me how I know about this problem. I did it with earlier on. I had cloned, because they keep returning to Blue Water Inn, and I cloned the Blue Water Inn and went, well, I'm not building that again. And then I found out in a game session somebody moved, and then suddenly they were in the inn on their own, and it took us a while to realise that they had jumped to a completely different arc, and were in completely the wrong version of that map. So I had to go through and fix them. So I know about that challenge now, and now you know about that challenge. So all of these have got to be remapped for the Ravenloft heist. So I'm going to clone them all, and then I'm going to make the changes to the dinner with the devil versions of it, and put in all of the NPCs and everything like that. I've got to build out a couple of extra scenes. Then I can move on to the Ravenloft heist ones, remap all of these regions, which is going to be a nightmare, and then do all of the NPCs and stuff for that. In fact, before I do the NPCs, clone it again for the next arc, which is the escaping from the castle. Because again, a lot of those bits are going to be the same. It's going to be NPCs that are different. So essentially, I mean, it's the same map. So when you download the module, you'll get 1 copy of this map that you're looking at now. It's just 3 different scenes using this map, 1 in each of those arcs. So, you know, it won't increase the amount of stuff you need to download. It won't increase the pack size. It's just splitting them up into the different scenes to make your life easier. I hope that makes sense. So I am going to wrap up the Dragon's Manor piece and make sure that is ready, and I'm going to stick that. There'll be a link in the description for you to be able to download it directly if you don't already have my Curse of Strahd pack. If you already have your Curse of Strahd pack, by the time this video is out, you'll be able to click update, and it will just update to the newer version, which at the moment I can't remember exactly what version that will be, but it will be in the link anyway. Just click update and it will update you to the latest one. You'll be able to pull in the Dragon's Manor, and you'll probably be able to bring in Dinner with the Devil as well, even without the NPCs. And then once all the NPCs are done, and I've done Ravenloft heist with those NPCs, you'll be able to pull the whole lot in. And this huge great big chapter for these ones will be done. This is nearly the end of Act 3. So there's only Dinner with the Devil, the Ravenloft heist, and the Escape from the Castle. That's it. That's the last few arcs in this Act 3. Job done. We're on to Act 4. Anyway, I hope that was interesting. I know a lot of you aren't interested in watching these videos about Curse of Strahd, but there we go. Some of you are. Right, let me know if you've got any questions, and I need to crack on and do some work. Take care, and I will see you in the next one.